Let's go Dolphins! The Miami Dolphins have just made a move that could completely shake the foundations of the franchise, and I guarantee it's not a simple trade. This could be the beginning of something much bigger. I'm not here to give a quick summary. No, what happened behind the scenes is serious and could completely change the team's plans for this season or even the future. If you're a diehard Dolphins fan, you need to listen to the end. And if you think you've seen it all with this franchise, you haven't seen anything yet. But before I tell you exactly what happened and what may be about to happen, be sure to like this if you're a true blue and orange fan. And if you've been following the team for more than 20 years, comment now. Go Dolphins! My heart bleeds blue and orange. Now get ready, because what comes next will leave you speechless. The Jaylen Phillips trade is one of those that divides the fan base. On one side, we have an extremely talented player with the potential to be dominant in the league, but who unfortunately couldn't stay healthy. On the other hand, there's a clear need to move the roster around, free up cap space, and accumulate draft capital. What's striking is that the return was only a third-round pick, specifically the 31st pick of the third round, that is, one of the last picks in the round, courtesy of the Philadelphia Eagles, who are building a roster for another Super Bowl run. Yes, that's the pick that came in the trade. We understand that Phillips had a slow start to this season and that his injury history, including the tragic situation at MetLife and then the hit he took from Jordan Poyer, greatly influenced his trajectory. But even so, it's still a shock. Jaylen Phillips was seen by many as the future of the position, perhaps even a spiritual heir to Jason Taylor. Reaching this point shows how willing the front office is to part with important pieces to try for something bigger in the future. And here comes a critical point that many fans have been commenting on. The Miami Dolphins seem to be in seller mode. Besides Phillips, names like Bradley Chubb, Matthew Judon, and even Minkah Fitzpatrick are emerging as potential trade assets. This raises a serious question. Are we witnessing the beginning of a silent roster overhaul? Or is Grier simply trying to save his job? Because let's be honest, he should have been fired already. The draft he put together in 2021 was a disaster, and since then, every move seems like an attempt to put out a fire with gasoline. Returning to the trade, on paper, the Dolphins now have 3 third-round picks, one at the top of the round, probably our own, another in the middle, from Houston, and this last one from Philadelphia. Depending on the Eagles' performance in the playoffs, this pick could even move up a few positions. If they fall early, it could become a pick in the 20s. It's the kind of flexibility that could allow the team to move up in the draft, pick up a special talent, or even get a second-round pick in combination. But the timing of the trade also raises questions. We're in the middle of the season. The cap savings aren't all that great. The actual savings are estimated to be around $5 to $6 million, considering the initial cap hit of $15 million. It doesn't seem like an urgent move. So why now? Why not wait until the end of the season and better assess the situation? Is the internal environment more toxic than it seems? And make no mistake, this move also changes the snap count on defense. With Phillips out, the expectation is for more space for Chop. That is, if he manages to get out of concussion protocol. He might not be available against the Bills, but who knows, maybe in the game against Washington, before the bye week. Another name mentioned was Jaylen Wright. Could he be traded? And Fitzpatrick, who despite looking good on social media, has strong rumors of internal dissatisfaction, as was the case back in 2019. Will we see an exodus? A lot of you are probably still trying to process the fact that Jaylen Phillips is no longer a Miami Dolphin, and trust me, you're not alone. The emotional weight of this move is real, not just because of who Phillips was as a player, but because of what he represented, youth, athleticism, and potential that could have anchored our pass rush for years to come. But now, all of that is gone, traded away for what amounts to a lottery ticket in the back end of the third round. Let's break it down even further, because this isn't just about Phillips. This move might be the canary in the coal mine. When a team starts flipping core pieces mid-season, you have to question the direction, the leadership, and especially the front office, which in our case, still includes Chris Grier, unfortunately. It's baffling how Grier continues to avoid accountability. If this team falls apart, he's the first person who should be out the door. The man has had nearly a decade of drafts and trades, and we're still cleaning up his mistakes. Now, what does this mean strategically for the Dolphins moving forward? If the Dolphins are indeed shifting into sell mode, we might see an entirely different roster by the end of the season. Rumors are swirling that Chubb could be next, and that's not just smoke. Yes, he's been productive, but he's also expensive, and let's be real, he hasn't exactly lived up to his price tag. Plus, if teams see Miami willing to move on from Phillips, they know Grier might be open to dealing anyone. And don't overlook the Fitzpatrick situation. Yes, he's smiling for the cameras, but behind the scenes there are whispers of discontent, deja vu to 2019 when Minkah forced his way out. He's a competitor. Losing eats at guys like him. If he feels the Dolphins are once again spiraling, he might not stick around quietly this time. Another key point, the salary cap. With the Phillips trade, Miami might free up around $5 to $6 million, but let's not kid ourselves, that money isn't getting reinvested this season. It's likely going to be rolled over to 2026, which again signals a longer-term vision. A rebuild? Maybe not a full one, but certainly a retool. And that's what's frustrating. You can't go all in one year, then start selling pieces the next. That's not how championship teams are built. Meanwhile, let's look at what Philadelphia is doing. They've gone out and added Phillips, Carter, and Alexander, making it clear they are gunning for the Super Bowl this year. That's how aggressive front offices operate when they believe in their window. Compare that to the Dolphins' approach, and it's like watching two different sports. Philly is stacking talent. Miami is shedding it. And here's the kicker. What if Phillips turns into a Pro Bowler in Philly? What if he finishes the season with double-digit sacks? It won't be the first time Miami let a defensive talent blossom elsewhere. We've seen this script before. If he thrives under a new system, it points right back to Miami's player development and scheme fit issues, not to mention Anthony Weaver, who still hasn't figured out how to unlock Phillips' full potential. If anything, this trade might end up being more about Weaver's failure than Phillips' shortcomings. Let's also talk draft capital, because I know some fans are looking at the silver lining. 3 third-rounders sounds nice, but draft picks are only as good as the people making them, and that's where things get murky. Greer's recent track record in the mid-rounds is shaky at best. Are we confident he'll hit on all 3? Or even 2? This is a front office that's still haunted by the misses in 2020 and 2021. That's why the Phillips trade doesn't inspire hope. It raises anxiety. Jaylen Phillips being traded is the spark, but it might just be the first of several dominoes about to fall. The real question now is, what is the Dolphins' actual plan? Because this move doesn't reflect a franchise pushing all chips to the center of the table. It reflects hesitation, confusion, maybe even desperation. It's the kind of move that sends mixed signals to the locker room and even more mixed signals to the fan base. You want to contend? Then why trade one of your best defensive playmakers mid-season? You want to rebuild? Then why do it halfway with just one piece? This is where Chris Grier's decisions come under heavy scrutiny. Again, year after year, we watch talent come in and out, big names signed, future picks traded, and yet the Dolphins remain stuck in the middle. Not bad enough to bottom out, not good enough to break through. And now we're at a crossroads, with fans asking, are we actually building something sustainable or just running in circles? It's moments like this that define a front office. Unfortunately, with Grier still pulling the strings, there's not a lot of confidence that this team has a clear vision. He's been given too many chances, and here we are, watching our young stars walk while the competition loads up for a title run. Jaylen Phillips is gone, and if what I'm hearing is true, he won't be the last. If this team loses another game or two, more trades will come. More familiar faces will disappear, and it will become very clear that the Dolphins are pressing the reset button yet again. So now, it's on us, the fans, to ask the tough questions, to hold this organization accountable, to demand better. I've said it before and I'll say it again, this fan base deserves a team that knows what it's doing, not one that keeps cycling through talent without ever finding stability. If Phillips goes on to dominate in Philadelphia, and there's a good chance he will, it's not on him. It's on the Dolphins for never figuring out how to maximize him, for failing to protect their investment, for failing to lead. This is a pivotal moment. Watch closely. And agora, eu quero saber de você.